This past July, everything was going pretty well for me. I had recently passed both the New Jersey and PA bar exams after having to defer law school for a year in 2008 when I needed 3 spinal surgeries unrelated to cancer. I was clerking for a judge I loved working with and was learning so much in a career I spent years working towards. Then, on July 10th, 2013, I got the phone call no one ever expects to get, and my life instantly changed. As Dan told me, I became a member of a club nobody ever wants to be a part of. At 28 years old, I became a cancer patient.
Tara was diagnosed with melanoma when we were 28 years old, and it was July 10th, 2013. She was determined from the very beginning to make the best of it. She took it seriously. She researched every treatment, and the more she researched it those first couple weeks and she learned about, really the severity of melanoma and the treatment options available, she knew that there was a lack of treatments and a lack of research, and she wanted to do something about that. Tara started her blog mainly for us, because she knew how hard it was for us to talk about it and to give people updates, and she wanted to just take the pressure off and make it easier on us. But in doing that, she kind of unknowingly introduced herself to a world of people who she's left a lasting impression on. And I think one of the most unique things about her blog was that she had a way of writing it in such detail that made you really understand what was going on, and you wanted to kind of cry as you're reading it, because what she's going through is devastating. But somehow you kind of end the post and you're laughing with how she's explaining it or what she's talking about, and it's just, it was this incredible way she had about her. She posted this picture of her head screwed into a box and said, "I'm literally screwed."
Tara was probably the most informed, researched person about her cancer and all the treatments, but she still wanted to be a 28-year-old girl that was just having fun.
During her first surgery, she was making the best of it in the most Tara way possible, and she was shopping with my mom as they were waiting to go back for surgery, and she found this shirt that said, "I'd rather be shopping," and it kind of started this theme of her battle, which was having the perfect shirt for every surgery and procedure, and just making it funny and fun, and broke the ice a little bit and brought some humor in and took the tension out of things.
It just brought light to the most serious of matters, and that's what Tara did. She could find the silver lining and the humor, even though she knew how serious everything was.
A week after she got out of the hospital from her first brain surgery, and less than 2 weeks coming out of the surgery, she went to our friend's wedding, and she looked amazing, and she kind of was just, this is my life.
When Tara coined the phrase, #make the best of it, she truly believed it. That was her motto. She wasn't going to let cancer define her. She was going to live her life to the fullest and have fun and make sure people around her have fun.
An example of Tara's determination was when we were in Houston, before she started her proton therapy, they were telling her that she wouldn't be able to eat spicy food, she wouldn't be able to drink alcohol, all the things that she wasn't going to be able to do, and all the horrible side effects. And she asked them, "Well, is there a legitimate reason why I can't drink alcohol other than it's going to hurt?" And the doctor looked at her and said, "Are you a lawyer?" And she said, "As a matter of fact, I am." And then the last day before we left Houston, she went out for lunch and she had a margarita with salt and a fajita.
It was at the Britney Spears concert where she ran her hands through her hair and she had a whole clump of hair in her hand, and our friends all just looked and we weren't really sure what was going to happen or how she would react, and Tara just looked at it and she laughed and she said, "How ironic, what better place to lose your hair than a Britney Spears concert? Who appreciates being bald more than Britney?" And that was that. And then when she wrote about it on her blog, she made a joke that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and her hair stayed in Vegas.
People frequently play the game, what if? What if I knew I wasn't going to make it and I was going to pass away? Well, Tara was faced with that, and her choice was, at 29 years old, in lieu of traveling or buying things, her choice in life was to start a foundation.
Tara realized there was a lack of effective treatment options, and that was due to a lack of research for melanoma. And she was faced with impossible decisions and weighing treatment options, and that's why she decided to start this foundation. And she made it really clear that despite her outcome, She wanted us to wholeheartedly continue her mission to find a cure and to change the odds for everyone who would come after her. So I think she would be blown away. We've raised a little over $4 million that's all gone to melanoma research, and I think she would also tell us that there's a lot of work to do. I mean, when she was alive and she got diagnosed, the odds were about 20% of patients were living past a year. And now that number is 50%, which is huge progress, but it's not enough, because that means that 50% still aren't making it.
We're still leaving 50% of the people behind. So it's nothing more than a coin flip, whether or not you're going to get better or you're going to pass. Tara would say, we must continue with our efforts to raise money for research to make the odds better for the other 50%.
When Dr. Schuchter said to her, like, what you're doing is extraordinary, Tara didn't understand why. Tara just thought, this is a problem, we have to solve it, I'm gonna start a foundation, I'm gonna raise money for research. But she never understood that just in how she was living her daily life and her motto to make the best of it and how her blog was inspiring people, she never fully understood the impact that she made on everyone whose lives she touched.
Hello everyone, I'm Lacey Adams. My husband is United States Surgeon General Jerome Adams. 3 months after moving to DC for my husband's appointment in 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma. I had surgery to remove lymph nodes and followed up with a year of immunotherapy, specifically Opdivo, a PD-1. This treatment was fairly new back then, and I was fortunate to be able to have this option instead of other traditional, harder to tolerate treatments. Immunotherapy was a miracle to me. I was able to fight my cancer while living my life feeling almost normal. It's truly a game changer in the cancer world. Unfortunately, this year, we found out that after 14 months of completing immunotherapy and having clear scans, my melanoma has returned and has mutated. I was amazed and relieved to hear that because of research in the recent years, I had options that were not even available just 2 years before. I am starting Yervoy and Opdivo. This is a combo treatment of immunotherapy that was just approved. This experience has given me hope that even if I am fighting this horrible disease again, that there is always research going on, making treatment options better and better. Ultimately, I want the researchers to find a cure though, so people like me don't have to live our lives always worrying about the next time. And seeing the advances they have made in just a few years, I'm extremely optimistic that this is going to happen.
Funding research and, hearing about the progress is one thing, but when it all came into perspective for us was 2 years ago when we got a message from a girl about our age who said, she sent a message and said, thank you. I'm on immunotherapies today that were funded with research that you guys funded, and it's literally saving my life. So when Tara wanted to, make sure the next 28-year-old girl in her shoes didn't go through the same thing, that was the epitome of it.
I chose Tara because her selflessness and courage at such a trying time is really an inspiration to all of us. And she's given people like me a second chance at life, and I can't thank her or her family enough for that. And I think the most we can do is try to live life like she taught us and make the best of it. Funding is so important to me because I had treatment options that weren't available just a few years ago. And my immunotherapy likely saved my life. I can speak of, in my experience, I was one of the fortunate people who responded to the treatment. And there are a lot of instances where that doesn't happen. So we do have a lot more work to do.
From the beginning, Debbie and I decided to fund all of the costs associated with the foundation to ensure every dollar raised goes to research. So we will continue to fund all the expenses of the foundation so that every dollar received goes to research.
She has saved so many lives. We've gotten texts and emails from people saying that I'm alive today from treatment that I got because of what the Tara Miller Melanoma Foundation has done. And all I can say is, this is so important, and we get up every day and we do this because we truly hope that someday we can say, no other parent will ever have to go through what we are going through, every day of our life.
We have the power to make cancer powerless and perhaps even end it, but it takes research and that requires funding. Cancer has taken some of the best among us, and it's time for us all to stand up and fight back. In December, I spoke at Penn, and I led with a joke that I had to read my speech from my notes because I had recently had brain surgery. Well, the silver lining of having brain surgery as frequently as I do is you get to use the same excuse. As many of you may know, I had my third craniotomy in April. Then had 3 weeks of whole brain radiation and immediately started PD-1, all of which caused swelling in the brain, making my brain what I have eloquently termed, and even Dr. Schachter has adopted, fuzzy. So I apologize in advance if all of this doesn't come out perfectly. The truth is that this foundation is our way of making the best of it. According to statistics, 75% of stage 4 melanoma patients like myself are dead within a year of their diagnosis. I was diagnosed 11 months ago, and even after having somewhere around 14 brain tumors, yeah, I lost count, I know that those aren't good odds. I can't control those statistics, but part of making the best of it is accepting what I can't control and focusing on what I can control. So although we can't change what the statistics on melanoma have been, we chose to make the best of it and try to help change where they are going. Since being diagnosed, I'm lucky enough to have benefited from what have been considered game changers in melanoma treatment options. Sometimes it feels like my medical record could also serve as a timeline of FDA approvals. I was literally finishing one treatment and waiting for the next drug to become available. That's because although these treatments are very groundbreaking, and I'm so thankful they're available, they are, in essence, short-term solutions to buy time. When one treatment is no longer effective, you have to hope the next is going to be available. So I don't really consider them game changers as much as extra innings. What I really want to do with this foundation is to help fund the research that will get us past just buying time and will hopefully provide a lifetime to melanoma patients.